Huh? What up? It's your boy Johnny Jeremy. This week we're reviewing Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread. But I don't know anything about that. So we're gonna review The Phantom Menace. Cause
Who, sir, are you, sir?
the most acclaimed Star Wars movie. You know it, I know it, Sebulba knows it, Natalie Portman knows it.
What the fuck are you doing?
YouTube review, Phantom Menace.
No. What are you doing in my house? This is my home.
Look at hand gestures, funny dancing, squealy noises. Yeah, those are the staple of a YouTube movie review.
The
Life's
worst.
blood.
The worst type of YouTuber.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What was all that weasel stuff?
Okay, get out. We don't fucking talk about that. Who the fuck? Alright. Nobody.
Who, sir, are you, sir?
Welcome to Room 666. Today we're going to be reviewing Phantom Thread, the newest film from Paul Thomas Anderson. The film stars Daniel Day-Lewis, Vicky Krieps, and Leslie Manville. There will be blouses. Let's get into it, baby. Set in 1950s London, the film tells the story of Reynolds Woodcock, who is a famous dressmaker. His structured life falls apart once he meets a young, strong-willed woman named Alma, who becomes his lover and his muse. And let me tell you something. That girl is poison.
We are gonna die.
How do books work? You just... Hi. You caught me reading my Phantom Thread picture book. I got it when I saw the film in 70mm, and honestly, that's probably the way to go and see it. The best way. Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson, you old so-and-so. It's gonna be hard not to use a dressmaker metaphor, so bear with me on that. Here we go. Paul Thomas Anderson is a fantastic dressmaker. We've seen all his dresses. Previous dresses have been great. This one, it's beautiful, it's elegant, and it's grown up. It's a grown-up dress. And you look at it, and at first glance you might think, oh, this is too beautiful, too elegant. I kind of know everything about this dress. That might make it a little boring. But at a closer look, you realize there's all kinds of really dark and funny, unique design flaws in the dress that you can discover and that you don't even see coming, which make the dress even more beautiful than what it was in the first place. And he's stitched and sewn together a fantastic film. Like I said, it's going to be hard not to use dressmaker metaphors, so just bear with me on that. This is one of the best dresses Paul Thomas Anderson has ever made. Now, I think about if I had to look at Paul Thomas Anderson's movies as dresses and what was I going to have to wear for my wedding, I might pick this one. This might be my wedding dress. You know, you got like, with Boogie Nights was like my prom dress. This is like my wedding dress. That's what Phantom Thread is. And it's beautiful. It's elegant. The way he films scenes in this, it just sort of, kind of flows like a dress. It just kind of flows through around the people. You don't even really notice it's there. The camera just moves in this kind of elegant and just very just unnoticeable way. You don't notice it's there, and that's a master at work there. And the only time he does really stop is when, you know, he wants to get sort of the intense conversations between the actors, which is one of the best things about this film is the acting, but we'll get into that later. Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the best filmmakers working today. This shows that he's not slowing down, and it shows that he's only getting better with age and with his still keeping that theme of difficult men, where you have like There Will Be Blood, you have Punch Drunk Love, and The Master, and then this. But this one is a little bit more focused on the women, I feel like, which is fantastic. It's just such a good film. You need to discover it. Paul Thomas Anderson is the master. First up on the acting trifecta is Daniel Day-Lewis. Saying this might be his last role. And I don't know, that wouldn't be a bad thing. He doesn't necessarily go out with a bang in terms of this sort of big, loud character, like something he did in like There Will Be Blood or Gangs of New York. But I think it's still a very good and different role than he's ever done. He's not a loud, big character, but Daniel Day-Lewis is able to create a character with glances and looks. You know, he's someone who just like, you know, he likes to stare a lot, and you know, because he draws, you know, he makes dresses, and he just sort of likes to look at patterns and designs and different things, and he's always just sort of just glancing and just looking. And I think that Daniel Day-Lewis does a lot with his face in this film, and just with simple looks. Anything that he does with his face tells a story here. And you see films where he's had like quieter moments, quieter characters, like maybe the boxer, or even in The Name of the Father, where he's not really these sort of kind of out of these world physical transformation characters, but they're each very distinct and they're never the same. Even just because his hair is different or something like that, or he's dressed different, that is never really what makes the characters different for Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he really brings different physicalities that you don't even notice until you're really immersed in that character, and then you realize they're like, oh, that's not Daniel Day-Lewis, that's just the way that that character walks, the way that that character stands or crosses their legs or reads a book. You know, they're all so different and so distinct, and I think he does a fantastic job here. But he's only as good as who he's going up against, and in the cases of who he's going up against here, he's got Leslie Manville and Vicky Krieps, and they are just fantastic. So, he's working with some very great actors, and he's bouncing off of them perfectly. I mean, his chemistry with them two is phenomenal. Daniel Day-Lewis, if you're going to retire, that's fine. That's cool. I'll let you slide. I'll let you go. But remember, pal, you owe me. You owe me. Okay, one thing about Daniel Day-Lewis's character is that he is very meticulous, and he's got a schedule and these things that he has to do, and that he has to do them when he wants to do them. And he has a sister who basically helps him keep that order in his life. And she is played by Leslie Manville. And Leslie Manville is fantastic in this. It's unfortunate that she's not getting any sort of awards recognition. I hope that come Oscar season, when the Oscars are announced, that she gets a Best Supporting Actress nomination, because she absolutely deserves it. She is just basically like just sharp and just mean, but her facial expressions, I mean, she just is so quick with these kind of one-liners. She's brings a lot of humor to the film, which is not necessarily like, I don't think intentionally, it's just because she's so good at being mean in this film that it's just hard not to laugh, because she just kind of makes these uncomfortable situations with her being so blunt and saying what is on her mind to either Daniel Day-Lewis's character or Vicky Krieps' character. And it's such a great performance in that it's focused, it's got so much physicality to it in the way that she walks and presents the character, who that character is, and how she presents herself to who she's around and who she knows. It says a lot without ever having to give her sort of any sort of backstory. Even when Daniel Day-Lewis talks to her about her mother, the reactions that Manville gives to those stories tells you a lot about her relationship with her mother, as opposed to what Daniel Day-Lewis's relationship is. And that's a big thing in the story too, is a mother relationship between them. And Manville really delivers these sort of these backstories of the character without ever having to say them, or with you ever having to see any sort of flashbacks. She can just tell you by how she reacts to what Daniel Day-Lewis feels about the past, or how he feels about what's going on now. And it's such a great performance, and she's so good, so funny. I hope she gets nominated. Manville, please, Thomas Anderson, put her in more shit. Everyone put her in everything. The MVP of this film, and basically if this was some sort of, boxing match metaphor, the winner, the one who comes out of all the rounds, going toe-to-toe with Daniel Day-Lewis and Leslie Manville, is Vicky Krieps. She is fantastic in this. I personally haven't seen her in anything, or at least haven't noticed her in anything, but she stands out so much here in a lot of different ways. It's in terms of she's very beautiful, but it's not a natural beauty that you would see, and maybe not what you would expect to have been cast in this maybe kind of role. And I think it works perfectly because, as I said, she's very beautiful, but it's just a different type of beauty. It's not a beauty that we see, and it's not a beauty that we see celebrated as much. And she's a strong-willed character too. She's not this someone who's just sort of doing these things because she feels like she has to. It's really all the things that she does are her decisions, and you really feel that sort of force and that kind of strong will that the character has, and a lot of it is because of the performance that Vicky Krieps does. And I can't wait to see her in more stuff. If Paul Thomas Anderson likes to use a lot of the same actors, if he was to use her again, I would not be mad at that. Like I said, she's the MVP of it, and I would be A shame if she doesn't get any awards recognition. I don't think anybody here but Down Day-Lewis is, and that's a shame because honestly, the two women in this film are way better than Down Day-Lewis is. He's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but Manville and Crepes, they steal this movie. Alright, in conclusion, Phantom Thread is a fantastic film. I couldn't recommend it to everybody, but if you are a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, this is definitely one you should go out and see. It is in line of something like There Will Be Blood in The Master. It's more of that style than it is like Boogie Nights, but that's not a bad thing. That is a fantastic thing. It only means that he's getting better as a filmmaker and he's not slowing down or getting boring. So please go check out this film. It would have made my top 10 in 2017 had I seen it then. I unfortunately wasn't able to get to it till this year, but hell, this might be the last time we see Down Day-Lewis act in anything, so that's another reason for you to go right out and see it. But that's not the only reason. All the other actresses, Leslie Manville, Vicky Krieps, they are all fantastic in this. If you saw the trailer and you think like, oh man, that just looks like some boring kind of Oscar bait thing, it is not at all. In any sort of way, you'll have no idea where this film goes, and that's the best part about it. Go check it out.
You don't gotta watch movies to be a YouTube movie reviewer, baby. See, that.